Hi friends, I'm Tammy Kay, and today you are here because of the free tutorial for our Summer Blooms free watercolor event, and now we are painting some loose poppies together. I am so excited to share this with you. I hope that you enjoy it, and also know that you will be getting an email soon with a little freebie from me, my ebook for watercolor florals and just how to loosen up your watercolor floral style. So let's get into it, and I hope you have so much fun. So we're going to start with spraying down our palette, and I've got several brushes here. So this one is a mop brush. I don't know the number because it is not listed there, but it is a large brush. It holds a lot of liquid, a lot of water. If you don't have this, you can use a different large brush if you have like a number 16 round or a 12. So then I do have a number 8 and a number 2 round. So just to have a variety for details, and you'll be good to go. So we're going to start by wetting this brush. Like I said, lots of water. I'm going to grab some of this beautiful Scarlet Lake, reddish orange color, and pretty saturated amount on my brush. And we're just going to start with one bloom here and one bloom here. So I'm just going to assume maybe my middle will be around here, and I'm going to start adding in some very thick petals. And we're going for 5. And grab some more water, dip into my paint, and then we're just going to swoop around for that second petal. You can leave a little white space if you want in the middle. It doesn't really matter. I'm going to make these a little bit longer here. It doesn't really matter because it's going to be a dark color and it's just going to fit in there, cover up everything because it's dark. Add in a third petal over here. So you can see that I'm just starting from the outside in. I'm swooping in towards the middle. And that's how we will do our poppies today. I'm going to take off some paint, so dip in there, swipe off some of that paint. Look at that beautiful color. And then now we're just going to create a value shift. A little change in the value and a little bit more color. And we'll do our 5th one here. Sometimes I go in and outwards from the inward outward. From the inward outward, does that make sense? So outwards to the inside, inside to the outside. Just really depends on how you're feeling. Alrighty. So if you want now, you can take a number 12 brush. I'm going to take more concentrated paint. I just like to swirl it around to grab some good paint. If it feels like it's too dry, dip in water and then go back in. And you can just, a little dry. A little dry. Just want to pick up a lot of color. And you can just add in a little bit, especially on these lighter parts, just for some texture. Just a little bit wet on wet, just to play. And we'll leave that there. We're going to take our large mop brush again, dip in water, grab some lovely paint. Now, really runny right here, but I'm not worried about that. I'm going to add another one here and just put in those petals. That first one, if it's facing upward like this, I don't really worry about, it's not that swooping motion, it's just once we start to add in the side petals. So I'm going to take off some paint. We'll put our second one right here. And if those petals are touching, that's actually a nice thing. It's just bringing those blooms together quite nicely and closely. And I personally like that look. And then they can bleed together if they want, and that's okay. All right, take off some paint again for the 4th petal. And again, remember that swooping motion. So now we've got a really nice light value change in this one, which I really do like. I want to do some side facings before we add in our greenery and all that fun stuff. But don't forget to add in a little extra darker paint here. Just again, just adding in a little bit of texture, shadow. No rhyme or reason to this, just have fun. Just have fun. That's the main thing. So I'm going to switch up to a smaller brush. We're going to work with the number 16 round. Again, if you don't have 16s, doesn't matter. Just use a brush that's smaller than what you used right now. And a little bit of paint here. We're going to do a little side facing over here. So just, you can go start from the tip and work your way to the middle, or you can go the other way. I'm just swooping around, just kind of like that. Then I'm going to take off some paint. I'll do a second one over here. Nice light value change on that one. I like that. I like that. All right. And then we're going to do another one down here, but it's facing downward. That is always the challenge for me. I just feel like painting from this angle, it's a little bit harder for me. But anyway, it's good to do hard things. It's good to learn how to challenge yourself. So we do it anyway, no matter what. And if you are having a hard time, you can flip your paper. There's nothing wrong with that. If someone tells you there's something wrong with that, you can tell them there's something wrong with them, because you don't want to put so many rules on yourself. It makes this whole beautiful creative painting experience just really hard and sometimes much less exciting when you have to think about doing things perfectly or the right way. So I did a little bud here, and I'm going to leave it like that. All right. So now I'm going to take my number 8 over here. So just a smaller brush for some details. And at this point, let's see. What I want to do, let's add in the dark, because I do want it to spread. So I've got a Payne's Gray here. Now, traditionally you would use black, but I do like a Payne's Gray. It's like that navy color. Nice saturated amount of paint here. So I'm going to start putting in my middles. And as I'm touching the red, there might be some spreading because it's still a little wet. Let's leave a little white space there. I think that's really pretty. It may spread or just get a little bit billowy, a little fuzzy, and that's okay. That's totally fine. Let's do that for the second one. This one's a bit wetter, so we'll just see the reaction, what happens. So just really quick brush strokes for this one. And I will go in those white spaces for the most part. And I know some people get really bothered by leaving the white spaces. They're like, I can't. And that's okay. Don't leave them if it bothers you. All right. So we'll do that. And then we'll wait until it dries a little bit and just do a few more details to that center. Alrighty, clean your brush. And now we're going to do our leaves. So our leaves are just going to be fun. I'm going to do the number 12. Again, I will keep saying it. Use the colors and use the paper. Well, I haven't said that today, but I always say use what you have. So whether that's the paper, the paint colors, I'm going to use a sap green here. Whether it's the style with which you paint, use what you're comfortable with. We're just going to go ahead and add in some leaves here. We kind of connect those together. Poppies have these very interesting leaves. And let's see, right here as well. I'm going to do a little bit of a stem here, kind of arcing, just to have things in place. This one as well. With the poppy, you're going to have this, this stem that just arcs over. I'm just going to put that in for now. And then we will continue with our leaves. So I like to fill this in with that greenery and using different shades of green if you would like. We can do different values too, but for this composition, we just want to really enjoy placing these things down on your paper. I am going to take off some of the paint, and you can just put in some little quick brush strokes too. You don't have to do this kind of leaf shape completely or the whole time. There's going to be places where there's barely any room. And so then you can just put in, you know, a little bit of a leaf shape, the idea of a leaf, I guess. So right here. And you can take a different shade of green too. You could mix in, maybe with your green, some yellow or some brown. You could even mix in some blue for some bluish leaves. So even if the poppy doesn't have that color, it doesn't mean that you can't use that color, if that makes sense. So now I am just kind of using the belly of the brush, pressing down, and I'm holding that tip this way. So now the petals or the leaves are really rounded on the ends. And if I wanted to do that same shape over here, I would flip it this way so the point is that way. And then I would proceed with the painting like that. I'm going to grab some brown and mix that in with some of these and do the same type of thing. So this is a process that to me is very kind of meditative. Like if you're not listening to somebody telling you about it like you are right now, it's just this process of kind of getting lost in your painting, really enjoying, taking a break from any stressors you might have. I'm going to do a bud right up here. Any stressors you might have, any worries you might have. Let me add in a little bit of red here. A little pop of color. Since I've got it on my brush. And just, you know, just kind of working on being calm. If you are calm right now, then it's just a practice for another day, for when you need it. If you don't feel calm, then it's a practice in being calm in the moment. We're going to use some green. I'm going to do a bud. Just like that. And then we're going to do that stem, arcing it down. Just like so. Okay. How are your leaves coming along? I'm gonna flip to a number 8, so a smaller brush. And I love just, you know, playing with the different brush strokes and shapes and sizes. And you can even just go like this and just, you know, add in something very simple. We'll connect things with stems too. This one got away from me, a little crazy, a little messy, but you can always go in and clean it up with a smaller brush too. That can work well. And there you go, a lot better. I really liked mixing these greens to get the green together with the brown. I thought that was kind of pretty. And over here, I want to add some in too. So there's really no rhyme or reason for doing this or how to do this. You can just kind of play, take off some of the value, go lighter if you want to as well. I'm so glad that you guys decided to do this freebie today, this freebie class. It's a little bit of some of the fun stuff that I love to do, and I do want to let you know that I'm on Patreon for exclusive content. So if you want more of this type of thing, but videos that are not anywhere else, and drawing sheets, just depending on the tier, you can click on the description just to learn more what we do over there on Patreon. I'm also on Skillshare too, which we have lots of fun over there, lots of classes, and my referral link is in the description here too of this video. So right now I am, you know, adding in a little bit of a difference here. I added in some blue to my green, and now we've got some different things happening. And so just for like a little bit of a shift in value, I lightened up this color. It's kind of a grayish green, brownish green. And I do like to go in just in between the flowers, in between the spaces where there's a lot of white space, and I just add in some really quick marks. So at this point, we are pretty much done with this painting, but I do want to just fill in the spaces a little bit more. And until I feel like it's complete. So while you're kind of thinking about that and maybe working on that, I'm going to take my smallest brush and fairly concentrated paint. This is the number 2 round. And I'm going to start connecting things together, little stems. So that's the part that's missing for this because we didn't want to add that in with the large brush. And so now we can go back and do that. And now our leaves are going to make so much more sense. Here we go. So again, think of this whole like moment and practice is a way to help yourself to just kind of get lost in the moment, enjoying this whole painting experience and, really not worrying about the rest of the day and what you have to do. If this is the hardest thing you have to do, that'd be great. But I assume your day is going to be much more challenging than this. And so when you're feeling stressed out and overwhelmed, just think back to when you were painting this and how it made you feel. Now, if you felt stressed out, there's that perfectionism creeping in. Maybe it didn't look the same as mine and you wanted it to. Maybe you had high expectations for it and it just didn't turn out. Maybe you need to try it again. Maybe the second time it'll feel more natural, more comfortable, but those are all things that can be worked out. But I hope that this experience is relaxing and calming. And that is the point. We're not worrying about our end result, but rather we're wanting and focusing on just having a really good time. This is your self-care, maybe your self-care for the day and for the week. And I do encourage you to keep trying to do creative things, not only painting, but whatever you're good at. Meaning whatever you know to do. I shouldn't say good at because we get better with time. Whatever you enjoy doing, cooking, or if it is painting, or if it is crocheting or sewing, woodworking, photography. I mean, there's so many things that we can do to get the creativity going. And whatever it is that you enjoy, every time you practice, you do get just a little bit better, a little bit more comfortable with the practice and the medium. So don't give up. It is always a work in progress. And if we're not a work in progress, we're not trying and we're not going to get better. So grabbing this lovely paint here, I'm going to go over it one more time, just a little bit more color difference. You don't really have to do much here, but the little extra concentrated red here is going to create a little bit more dimension and shadow, which I love to do. So this one, I don't think I have to do too much here. But anywhere that you feel like you like a little shift in the colors that are there, in the shade, or the value, go ahead and, just put in some more marks. And these are just really simple marks. We're not overthinking them. This is a painting to relax and be calm, so overthinking creates tension and anxiety, worries and fear, and just all the things we're trying to avoid. Alrighty, so I'm not going to do much more with the leaves. I do want to do a little splatter, so I'm going to use this brush, kind of whatever comes up here from my palette. Just going to go around mostly the white spaces. It's for a little magic. And then with the centers, we're going to dry them real quick and then add just a little bit more. Okay, so I'm taking the really tiny brush. It's not going to hold a lot of paint, so we are just going to work with this anyway. It's going to be fine. So really concentrated dark color here. And I just want to add in those cute little poppy lines. All right, so just going around this circle. We've got some fuzziness from the paint spreading around, and then we've got these little lines too. So after you do the lines, just really simple, not overthinking it, then you can take the concentrated paint and you're just going to go around and make those little classic little dots here for the center. The stamen of the flower, classic poppy. And I have to say, I'm so glad to share this video with you guys as a freebie today because it's one of my favorite flowers. I absolutely love them. They're so much fun and they're so pretty. So now, same thing over here. Little line sticking out. And if your painting is wet like mine is in some spaces, don't put your hand on it. I just did, but looks like we're okay. So just a few here. Sometimes it just takes a little bit of adjustment with your wrist to kind of flip it the right way. And a little bit more darkness. I'm going to set my hand on here because this part is dry. All right. And if you do want to dry your whole painting before you do this, you can do that as well. I just chose to quickly dry the center. So I hope you are enjoying this. If you felt stressed out in the future with your paintings, remind yourself to just take a breath. The whole point is that this is just practice. It's always practice. I'm going to put a little bit of extra concentration in the middle. If you feel like overwhelmed by something, just take a break, walk away. And if you can remind yourself it's practice, you can usually be a bit easier on yourself. Not so hard on yourself if it doesn't turn out how you want. And you can tell yourself too, you're a beginner in this type of painting, or maybe you are a beginner in painting. Everyone has to start somewhere, you guys. So there's no shame in it. Don't shame yourself. The world shames us enough without us doing it to ourselves. All right, guys, here is your poppy painting. I hope you had so much fun with me today. Thank you so much, friends, for painting this with me. I hope that you enjoyed the process. I also hope that you enjoy just kind of letting go and allowing the paint to flow, not worrying so much about those brush strokes or perfection, but just having a good time. As a mental health therapist and an artist, I like to help encourage you guys just to let go of the perfectionism and really focus on self-care and being in the moment. If you guys didn't know, I'm on Patreon. You can find that linked below, and that's my membership. I also am on Skillshare. There's a referral link below as well. I have a podcast, and we're talking about self-care and things around that to be able to help us to learn to relax and enjoy and take care of ourselves so we can take care of others. Anything else you might want to know, my website is linked as well below. So thanks for taking the time to listen to this, to watch the video, and I'll see you guys soon on the next tutorial. Bye.